Hello, and thank you for joining us here at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. My name is Rusty Volk, and I'm the Executive Director of the Northern Wisconsin State Fair Association. This is a nonprofit agricultural 501c5 organization that's in control of the operations and management of the Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds. The history of this fairgrounds is very vast. It dates back to the early or late 1800s when horse racing was the predominant activity of these grounds. Rumor has it that at one time over 250,000 people attended the fair in the early 1900s. We have some fabulous pictures on the grounds where you need to come and look at so that you can see how grandeur this facility was in its glory days of the early 1900s. At that time they built a large grandstand that had a seating capacity of 6,400 people. It was what they called the largest and the best economic development venue that they had in the northern Wisconsin area. And that's why these grounds are so valuable to the community of Chippewa Falls and the region as well. In the early 1900s, when things were going great, the fairgrounds were basically owned by the state of Wisconsin. 27 states supported the Northern Wisconsin State Fair up until the 1930s. As you all know, in the 1930s, we had the Depression, which was a very challenging time for everyone. There was no fair held on these facilities in 1933 or 32. And the community of Chippewa Falls and the whole region really suffered from that non-activity of utilizing this facility. In 1934, Archie Putnam and 11 other community leaders band together to purchase the fairgrounds and to reestablish it because they wanted to rebuild it and to bring people back into the community. At that time, they named it the Northern Wisconsin District Fair. The District Fair was so that it would continue to be that regional event. It held all of your livestock and agricultural activities. It was that venue where people could bring their goods and services and showcase what they had made so that they could compete against each other and determine what is the best of the best throughout our community. In 1966, the fairgrounds were renamed the Northern Wisconsin State Fair, or the Northern Wisconsin State Fair again. And at that time, it again started growing. And it was privately owned at that time. At one point, they had up to 13 different stockholders that were involved in the ownership of these fairgrounds. So that particular structure held very true, and it was totally different than what you'd see now. During that period, they had a half-mile racetrack, and they had horse racing, car racing, and all types of racing of that sort. The facility stretched over all the way to Highway 124, and it was just barns were surrounding the whole area. The pictures and what we have are just fabulous for you to look at and see where we're at. In 2007, we had an issue here at the fairgrounds where the fairgrounds were for sale, and the current owners at that time decided they were going to sell it to developers because they couldn't find anybody that had the passion to take this venue over. The community of Chippewa Falls looked at this and thought, wow, we couldn't allow somebody else to operate up here if it was not going to continue to be a fair. Again, they came back to the whole contention that we have economic condition, we are in dire needs, and even now, in today's realm, we have economic conditions, but that's also the time to spur on activity and to get people excited about what's to come. So in 2007, the community of Chippewa Falls again band together to purchase the fairgrounds. Only this time they purchased it through a nonprofit organization. That nonprofit organization is called the Chippewa Partners Incorporated. Through that capital campaign, people donated money as a tax deduction so that they could purchase the fairgrounds. Funds were generated, enough funds were generated so that they could purchase this venue and to continue on with the tradition that was always been here. There were a few extra funds generated from that initial campaign because when we looked at the facilities, we knew that there were going to be some serious infrastructure issues down the road. In 2007, the Northern Wisconsin State Fair Association developed their board of directors. That board of directors consists of business people within the community. There was criteria that they wanted people from the agricultural sector, the educational sector, the business sector, the financial sector, as well as the youth sector. So we looked at all areas in which we needed to have input and provide ownership in that regards. In 2009, we developed our strategic plan. When I came on, when they hired me in 2008, everyone seemed to say, Rusty, we got to change this building, and you got to put money in that building, you got to build the barn, do something about those grandstands. You know, you got to fix the building up here so we can use it more. Everybody had an idea. So we determined that in order to move forward, we had to find some type of a solid plan of action so that we can grow. At that time, we developed a mission, a vision, and a value statement. And our mission that we developed is quite simple but very profound. Our mission is to provide up-to-date grounds and facility that promote events and activities that enhance the economic viability of our community. So if you think of that concept, we need to grow, build things for others to keep this going. So that's our goal. During that strategic planning session, we had 38 of the best people we could find in our region band together and develop a facilities plan. Now that we knew what we had to do, we had to determine who's going to use these buildings. So we felt this building, and from that study, we felt that this venue would be great for, shall we say, medium-sized conventions, for trade shows, for events for the nonprofit organizations, for agriculture, livestock. All those things had to be taken into consideration. When we developed our master concept plan, we took all those concepts into effect. And when you view our concept plan, you're going to see 5 key areas that are changing down the road. The master concept plan is a 25-year plan of action. At today's prices, it has a price tag of $20 million. On that concept plan, you will note one key building, which is a large community center. There's no big gathering place within Chippewa Falls or our region for people to gather. This community center that we are proposing to build is a 30,000 square foot facility that would have seating for 2,400 people in a concert style setting. It would also have banquet facilities for an estimated 800 people. It would be a multi-purpose, year-round facility that we could use year-round. We constantly, even now, we get requests to use one of our buildings during the winter months. We do not have heat in any of the buildings, and we do utilize these facilities for storage in the wintertime, so we don't have that venue for those people that need that. So that's a way we can grow. That particular large building then could easily be used to move into some of these other ones for larger events. Another area you'll see on that particular on the business plan or the facilities plan is our grandstand. We have a much larger grandstand. We're proposing about a 5,000 seating grandstand so we could have major events, and we're going to position it so that we can have motocross or some type of motor sport events on front of that grandstand. On the rural end, we have to address our agricultural needs. The Northern Wisconsin State Fairgrounds has always been the heart of agriculture within our community. In that development of the rural end, as we'll call it, we have proposed an indoor livestock arena as well as an indoor livestock show ring. We hope that we've identified that if we were to have these facilities, we could host some of the National Livestock Breeders Association, Holstein Breeders Association, draft horses, equestrian, all those places need places to come to. So that's what our facilities plan is all about. It's been a real joy to put this thing together, and we've got a lot going on for us. What we needed to do after our facilities plan is, what do we do next? So that's where we're at right now. We're in the heart of what we're starting is our electrical grid replacement project. The facilities here are very archaic and old, and we had some critical issues that we had to take care of. So over this last winter, our board of directors and myself have been generating some revenues. We've been very fortunate that the community of Chippewa Falls and the surrounding region has stepped forward. we received a matching grant from the Casper Foundation by about $100,000 that said, raise another $100,000 and we'll give you $100,000. The Chippewa Partners stepped forward with $50,000. We have other foundations that have stepped forward with monies. We are close to our goal, and for that reason we started our project. We are now in the throes of our electric grid project, where we'll be replacing our primary service as well as our secondary service. We're going to be removing all of our overhead lines for the safety of everyone that uses these grounds, whether you be a volunteer, whether you be a vendor, or just a guest at our facilities here. So that's what we're doing. We're fixing these grounds up to improve the economic viability of our community. And we invite you all to come and share in this exciting venue that we have. Make sure you get to the fair this year. We have a fabulous lineup, and I want to see you all at the fair. Go to our website, Northern WI State Fair, to get some reserved seats or get admission to the fair and come and enjoy the fun. We have a great time here. We got a great setting. Come and join us. Thank you.